Hello guys, Aspen here, drone in nature. I'm out hiking again. Today I just want to talk a little about my short time review of the GoPro Hero 10. An excellent little camera that I really love. I used to hate GoPro, I must admit that. I previously owned the Hero 7 and the Hero 8. I didn't buy the Hero 9 because of all the issues I had with the Hero 8. But this camera really impressed me. It has a bunch of great features, but the biggest upgrade on this camera is for sure the processor. The GP2 processor means a totally new camera in my opinion. The Hero 9 seems to be a good camera, but the processor was the biggest issue. They have a lot of bugs and stuff like that with that camera. So you can't say that's a huge upgrade in that sense, because you almost have all the same resolutions, frame rates and feature. But the processor means a lot to a camera. It can handle more things, it can perform much better, and most of all the stability is the biggest issues. Of course you have some overheating with this camera, but I must say that's pretty normal for a camera this size. It's small, compact, but you can shoot up to 5.3K 60 frames and the image looks really good. I think we must admit that most people out there are only shooting small intervals when they're shooting activities and sports. Of course some trail runners maybe shoots longer videos, but I don't think they're gonna shoot in 5.3K. The footage looks incredibly good in 4K, 30 frames or 24 frames. But this camera is really rugged, and I was really impressed by the audio coming from this small little camera. It's really amazing. The only negative thing I have to admit is the poor battery life. But I'm pretty sure with an update coming on the middle of November, GoPro's gonna tweak some settings on the camera, so maybe we get some more better battery life out of that. You never know. But I think we should give GoPro a good chance with this camera. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a great camera. So far so good. And I saw just now on Twitter that was the specs for the DJI Action 2 has come out. And I was really disappointed, I have to say. You don't get more than 4K up to 120 frames. That was a little bit disappointing. I was really sure you get some more resolution and more frame rates. 5K was talked about, 6K I saw on some leaks. But I was a little bit disappointed, I have to say. And it seems to be a modular design, so you can arrange it like the Insta360 Insta1R camera, but I was a little bit disappointed about the leaks of the new specs of the Action 2. So I don't think GoPro are that worried about that camera, and that's good for GoPro. That's bad for DJI, because I really love DJI's products. I'm shooting this on the Pocket 2, excellent little camera. Of course it has some limitation, you can only use it in good weather condition. It can't handle rain, but this camera can really handle rough terrain and a bunch of shitty weather. But yeah, let's see a little bit about the specs on the GoPro Hero 10. You have the new GP2 processor, excellent processor. The screen is much quicker, and the resolution on the front screen is also much better. You have a new color profile. Natural color profile looks more normal. The colors looks more like they looks like. The vibrant color profiles is still a bit typical GoPro colors, too saturated in my opinion. But I'm usually only shooting in the natural color profile. Looks really good. And the sharpness when you turn on the camera is set to medium. I highly recommend setting the sharpness to low, because you can add sharpening in post. the footage looks much better if you add some sharpening in post, because I think the negative thing about the GoPro camera, straight out of camera, is it looks too digital, in my opinion. It looks a little bit strange and artificial, so I highly recommend changing that, and also set your EV comp to -1 or -0.5, because the GoPro camera seems to overexpose too much, so I highly recommend lowering that. And also the ISO. I think you can set the ISO to maximum 6400, but the Hero 10 can't handle low light that good. So I highly recommend setting the ISO to max 1600. I use it to 800. 100 to 800 is my setting. Sharpness low, and then you will get the most of your camera. The auto balance you can set to, white balance you can set to auto. It looks pretty good, but I think the white balance is something GoPro can work a little bit with, because it's changing too fast, in my opinion. But the footage looks good. It's an action camera. It's not a full frame camera or anything like that. But yeah, Hypersmooth 4.0, I can't see a big difference in good lighting, but I saw some difference in low lighting. It seems like the stabilization works a little bit better in low light with the Hypersmooth 4.0, and it's waterproof down to 33 feet or 10 meters like GoPro Hero 9. I don't want to talk too much about the photo quality, but it seems to be pretty good. You can shoot up to 23 megapixels, and that's great. The footage looks quite good. Let's see about the specs. The photo settings are 23 megapixel. Looks pretty good for an action camera. You can shoot video up to 5.3K 60 frames and 4K 120. In those two modes with higher frame rates, you can experience some overheating. But like I said, I don't think people are shooting that long intervals in higher frame rates. And you can 4K 120, so you can create beautiful slow-mos. It looks really good and really sharp. 2.7K up to 240 frames, that's excellent. Let's see. Yeah, you have of course, and you have time warp 3.0. That's the similar you had on the GoPro Hero 9. Super photo plus HDR, night lapse mode, and you have the digital lens or super view. Looks really good. Looks a little bit strange, a little bit bent. And you have wide, and you have linear plus horizon leveling up to 45 degrees, so you can tilt your camera 45 degrees before it's shifting. That's excellent. And linear, and you have narrow. You can also live stream with this camera up to 1080p. That's excellent. You have webcam mode. You have to download an app to your computer to use that. Yeah, power tools, you have hindsight. That means that the camera record, if you set it to hindsight, it records 15 or 30 seconds before and after you shoot something. Live bursts, and you can set schedule capture when you want to start your recording and stop your recording. And you have duration capture. Voice control, I never use that. And you have raw mode in all photo. And you can set presets, of course, in your camera on your screen for shortcuts. Touch zoom, I never use that. Portrait orientation, so you can rotate your camera and you have portrait. And of course you have photo timer, so you can set the camera to shoot something at a specially time sequence. It's rugged, it really is rugged. And waterproof down to 10 meter. 8x slow-mo. You can shoot up to 100 megabytes bitrate, and I highly recommend shooting in highest frame rates. Especially when you're doing some kind of action and sports, because you're moving fast, so the camera can handle and capture all the details much quicker. Yeah, you have face, smile and blink detection, exposure control. That's really good that you can do some manual tweaking. GP2 chip, of course. You have Pro Tune. That's where you can do your manual settings. The battery is 720 milliamp. Not impressive. It's the same battery that was on the Hero 9, so I was a little bit disappointed about that, but I don't know, you can shoot up to 1 hour in 4K 30, I think. Yeah. Of course, with the media mod you can use 3.5mm audio mic. I don't use the media mod. I'm never gonna buy it either because I think the audio coming from this camera is good enough. I have the Rode if I want to record something external. You have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and GPS, of course. Yeah, so I must say so far this is by far the best GoPro camera. It's really excellent. I really love it. It's rugged. The touchscreen is incredible. I think with a new blue color it looks really nice, and the lens is also an update. It's some kind of hydroponic lens. That means if you splash water on it, it runs off, so that's great. And it's rugged, it's really solid. Yeah, great camera. So that was my short time review of the GoPro Hero 10 Black. Excellent camera. I can highly recommend it, and it's going to be fun, of course, to see what DJI comes up with a new Action 2. But with the leaks and specs, I really don't know. I was hoping for more from DJI because the Osmo Action, the first action camera from DJI, was excellent. But I don't think this one can take up GoPro, so that's good news for GoPro and bad news for DJI. But we will see, of course, when the camera comes. It could be, all the leaks could be wrong, and maybe they do some updates on it. So it's going to be fun to see. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.